You might be familiar with this viral tweet about former President Trump. Quote, well, I'd like to see old Donnie Trump wriggle his way out of this jam. Trump wriggles his way out of the jam. Ah, well, nevertheless. But what if I told you that there's a British version of that tweet about someone who might even be more Teflon than Don? Quote, surely this must be the thing that ends Boris Johnson's career. Ancient British proverb. That's right, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has weathered a seemingly endless cavalcade of scandals, all while ascending to the highest post in the British government. Just last month, he survived a no-confidence vote brought by his own party following revelations of raucous parties at Johnson's office during strict COVID lockdowns. In fact, Johnson himself was fined by police for attending a birthday party and had to personally apologise to the Queen, as you do. He's been dogged by constant reports about his private life too, and don't even get me started on Brexit, the huge bag of horse manure that Boris dropped without a plan for a clean-up. Somehow Johnson survived all those years of bad press, but he's now embroiled in what is likely the most serious scandal or crisis of his career. More than 25 people have resigned from his own government since Tuesday after new questions emerged about the Prime Minister's handling of sexual misconduct allegations within his own party. Conservative whip Chris Pincher stepped down last week after he was accused of inappropriate touching, and this was not the first credible accusation levelled at Pincher, who denies the allegations. This sparked the rather alarming question, why did Prime Minister Boris Johnson promote Pincher when the man had been accused of sexual misconduct multiple times? Johnson has flip-flopped on the answer, first saying he didn't know about the allegations, then claiming he thought they were resolved, and then lamely saying he just forgot. Yesterday, he finally copped to his mistake and apologised.
Prime Minister, do you accept it was a grave error to appoint Chris Pincher to your government?
Yes, I think it was a mistake, and I apologise for it. I think in hindsight it was the wrong thing to do. I apologise to everybody who's been badly affected by it.
Today, though, he was grilled by colleagues during Prime Minister's question time in the House of Commons.
I started this session with a quote from the young victim in all this, how he froze when he was attacked. When I was prosecuting rapists, I heard that from victims all the time. Victims said they froze because it's not about sex, it's about power. And the power the disgraced government minister had was handed to him by that Prime Minister. And he's only in power because he's been propped up for months by a corrupted party defending the indefensible. The only way the country can get the fresh start it deserves is by getting rid of the lot of them.
That was the Labour leader, the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer there. But what does removing a British Prime Minister actually entail? And will that ancient British proverb finally be proven true? Or will he get away with it again? Joining me now, Jonathan Freedland is a columnist for The Guardian and one of Britain's best-known political commentators. He's also the author of the new book out in the UK, The Escape Artist, the man who broke out of Auschwitz to warn the world. It'll be published in the US later this year. Johnny, thanks for coming on the show. Let's listen to Sajid Javid, the health secretary who resigned on Tuesday and helped kick off this latest political crisis for Johnson.
But treading the tightrope between loyalty and integrity has become impossible in recent months. And, Mr. Speaker, I will never risk losing my integrity. I also believe a team is as good as its team captain, and that a captain is as good as his or her team. So loyalty must go both ways. The events of recent months have made it increasingly difficult to be in that team.
Damning words there. So how has Boris Johnson survived this long? What kind of Teflon is he made of?
Well, you're right to compare him in a way to Donald Trump, because he is not a normal politician, just in the way that Donald Trump was not a normal politician. A normal, conventional politician would be out by now. In fact, they'd have been out many months ago. The usual rhythms and rituals of British politics have happened in this case, and yet not brought the usual results. So normally a senior resignation, the resignation of one of the big power players in a Prime Minister's cabinet, would usually be enough. It was in the case of Margaret Thatcher. It triggered a series of events that saw her removal. Somehow, Boris Johnson just doesn't abide by those rules. in a very similar way to Donald Trump. It's very hard to deal with a politician who has no shame. It is very hard to shame the shameless. So he's not embarrassed by a huge vote of no confidence. He's not embarrassed by what's been happening today, as you've been reporting, that these resignations of lower level ministers have been ticking upward. It's just in the last few minutes, it's gone through the barrier of 30. It's now 30 plus. Normally that would be humiliating, but Boris Johnson is incapable of feeling humiliation, and therefore he's staying, and that results in a kind of testing of the constitutional mechanisms, much as Americans saw with Donald Trump. If somebody doesn't walk, it's very difficult to push them out the door.
So it's hard to shame the shameless is something we've said on this show many a time before. So I'm glad you made that point in reference to Boris Johnson. I've got to say, Johnny, I've covered UK politics for many years. I covered it back in the day alongside you before I moved to this country. But sitting here in America and seeing here in America fascism on the rise, white supremacy being mainstreamed, and then looking across the pond and seeing the British Prime Minister in a crisis over office parties during COVID lockdowns, it feels a bit weird. It feels very eccentrically British, does it not?
It does, if you could focus on the parties. And you're right to make that the link. The current school this week is about him not being honest about his appointment of this man who's now accused of sexual misconduct. And yet Boris Johnson was warned of that and pretended he hadn't been, as you said earlier. So the sort of proximate cause is that. You're absolutely right to point the finger at the bigger thing, which is the scandals known as Partygate. On its face, it sounds, eccentrically British, especially as the big egregious fine that was given to him by the police was for a birthday party, including cake. So it sounds like a British Tea Party. Why was that significant? Because it meant he was breaking his own rules. The rules that he had imposed during the coronavirus pandemic, that he went on TV at a press conference every day saying, you have to follow these rules, which prohibit you from having contact even with your loved ones, even in their dying hours. You are not allowed to hold the hand of a dying mother or father. You cannot console a husband or wife in their last hours. Everyone here pretty well stuck to those rules because they believed they were imposed on everyone. There was an iconic image of the Queen herself at the funeral of her husband of 73 years, unable to sit with her own family because she was following the COVID rules. It was very different from the United States, where some did, some didn't, some wore masks, some didn't. In Britain, people more or less did follow the rules, and yet it turned out Johnson was laughing in their face, disobeying those rules, breaking them round the clock, and then, where it was party central in Downing Street.
And then offering the lamest of excuses. I think we played on this show a few months ago a minister saying that he was ambushed by cake. He didn't choose to cut the cake. He was ambushed by the cake. Last question to you, Johnny. What does Boris Johnson's departure, if it happens, and it may happen by the time this airs, what would it mean for this worldwide sort of alliance that we've seen of right-wing populists and authoritarians that he is often, fairly or unfairly, included in because of Brexit, the rise of Trump and Johnson and Modi and Orban and Le Pen? I mean, Britain, even without Boris Johnson, has still moved towards that populist right, has it not?
Well, he was the embodiment of it. I mean, it was about him more than anyone else. He was the face of the Vote Leave campaign, the Brexit campaign that you referred to. He was the charismatic force behind it. That drift to populism has been, in a way, embodied by Boris Johnson. And particularly its cavalier disregard for conventions, for institutions, for liberal democratic norms, and in a way for the rule of law. Remember, Boris Johnson had only been Prime Minister a matter of a couple of months when he sought to suspend Parliament altogether because it was not doing his bidding on Brexit. He wanted to, in effect, the equivalent would be a president cancelling Congress or trying to do that. It was a radical move, and it put him absolutely in a company you're describing, Bolsonaro, Orban, etc. So if he goes, I think that trend is halted, if not, but even if it's not reversed, it is halted if Johnson is ejected.